this is the video for Test 2 review. You must show all your work on your review paper, complete any corrections in pen or colored pencils. Section 1. Compare each set of numbers using less than, greater than, or equal to. Number 1. 7/8 compared to 78/100. You first need to convert them both to the same form. I chose to convert 7/8 to a decimal, which becomes 875 thousandths. So then I can compare 875 thousandths to 78/100. So therefore 7/8 is greater than 78/100. Number 2, 24/100 compared to 195 thousandths. They're already both in decimal form, and 24 cents is greater than 20 cents, so therefore 24/100 is greater than 195 thousandths. Question 3. 1 2/3 compared to 7/2. I again converted both of these to decimals, so 1 2/3 becomes 1 66/100 repeating, and 7/2 is 3 1/2. So 1 66/100 is less than 3/2. Next section, solve each problem. Question number 4. 18.5 times 3.27. You do not have to line up the decimals, so this is 3-digit by 3-digit, and then you count the digits behind the decimal places. So I have 1, 2, 3 digits behind the decimal places, so my answer has to have 3 digits behind the decimal. And my answer is 60 and 495 thousandths. Number 5, 8 2/10 times 9 4/10. Again, you do not have to line up the decimals. You count the digits behind, 1, 2, so your answer also has to have 2 digits behind the decimal. So my answer is 77 8/100. Question number 6. 3 14/100 times 2 53/100. Again, not lining up the decimals, just multiply 3-digit by 3-digit. Count the digits when you're done. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my answer has to have 4 digits behind it. So my answer is 7 and 9,442 10,000ths. Number 7. 16 1/4 divided by 2/10. Now, since 16 1/4 comes first, it goes on the inside of the division bar, and 2/10 goes on the outside. Now remember, we have to move the decimal till it gets to the house, so 2/10 is on the outside. It only takes me one time to move it, so I move the 16 1/4 decimal one time, so I now have 162 1/2. And I bring my decimal straight up, and when I do that, I get 81 1/4. Number 8, 9 divided by 3/100. 9 goes on the inside because it's the first one in the sentence. 3/100 goes on the outside because the decimal is on the outside. I need to move it, so I move it 1, 2 places. I do the same thing on the inside. Now, the decimal on the inside is to the right of the ones place. So I move it 2 times, and I will fill those blanks in with zeros. So I now have 900 divided by 3, which gives me 300. Number 9. 21 32/100 divided by 5 2/10. 21 32/100 is on the outside, on the inside. 5 2/10 is on the outside. Because it's on the outside, I only have to move it one place. So I do the same thing to the inside, bring my decimal straight up. So now I have 213 2/10 divided by 52. And when I divide that out, I get 4 1/10. Okay, write each fraction as a decimal. Number 10 is 2/3. Remember, to do this, you divide the numerator, the top number, by the denominator, the bottom number. So 2 goes on the inside, 3 goes on the outside, and when I do that, I get 66/100 repeating, and that is your decimal. Number 11, 5/8. Again, same thing. divide 5 by 8, so 5 goes on the inside, 8 on the outside, and I get 625 thousandths. Number 12, 15 divided by 4. Now, I should have a number in front of the decimal as 15 is greater than 4, and 15 will be on the inside, and 4 is on the outside. And when I do that, I get 3 75/100ths. Write each decimal as a fraction in lowest terms. Number 13, 36 hundredths. I write exactly what I say, and I said 36 hundredths, and then I simplify it. So 36 hundredths, both of them divide by 4, and I get 9 25ths. Number 14, 8 tenths. Again, writing what I say, 8 tenths, and both of those divide by 2, so I get 4 fifths. Number 15, 85 hundredths. Writing what I say, 85 hundredths, so I get 85 over 100, and I can divide both of those by 5, and I get 17 20ths. Solve. Number 16. Suzette went to the mall and spent $4.50 on a smoothie and $25 on a new shirt. She found $15 in the parking lot, and when combined with her remaining money, she had $22. How much money did she have at the beginning of her shopping trip? Well, the first thing I need to do is subtract that $15 that she found in the parking lot from the $22 that she had left to see how much she had left before she found the $15. So she had $7 left when she walked out of the mall. Then I take and I add what she bought. So I add the $25 and the $4.50 on the smoothie. Remember, when we add decimals, we line them up and bring it straight down. So she had spent $29.50. And to find out how much money she had at the beginning of her shopping trip, we take the $7 that she had left when she walked out of the mall and the $29.50 that she had spent while she was in the mall, and I add those together, and I get $36.50. And that's what she had at the beginning of her shopping trip. Write the expression that is modeled below. Number 17. So here's our number line. You'll see that we start at 2.8, and each section is 2 tenths, so 2 tenths, 4 tenths. So I take 2.8 and I divided it into 4 tenths, and then I count the number of hops. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hops. So 2.8 divided by 4 tenths is 7. Write the expression that is modeled below. Number 18. So here's our grid. This is going to be multiplying. So I had 3 complete columns drawn in, colored in, so that's 3 tenths. And then if you count your rows, I had 6 complete rows, so that's 6 tenths. And my answer is what is overlapping, this dark part right here, and that is 18 hundredths. So my answer is 18 hundredths. Order of operations. Number 19. I have 14.5 plus 6 in parentheses times 3.2 minus 9. Following PEMDAS, I have to do the parentheses first. Keep in mind you need to line up the decimals, and the decimal in the 6 is to the right. So when I add 14.5 and 6, I get 20.5 times 3.2 minus 9. I don't have any exponents, so the next thing I'm going to do is multiply 20.5 times 3.2. I do not have to line up the decimals when I multiply. When I multiply those two numbers, I get 65.6 minus 9. Again, I need to line up the decimals when I subtract, so the 9 will go under the 5 in 65. And when I subtract those, I get 56 and 6 tenths. Number 20. 3 times 6 minus 2 in parentheses squared minus 10 divided by 2. Following PEMDAS, I need to do the parentheses first. So I'll do the 6 minus 2 which gives me 4. So now my problem reads 3 times 4 squared minus 10 divided by 2. I have to do the exponent attached to the parentheses first, so now I have 3 times 16 minus 10 divided by 2. 3 times 16 is 48 minus 10 divided by 2. Then I'm going to do the division, so I have 48 minus 5, which gives me 43. Ordering. Number 21. Put the values in order from least to greatest. 1/2, 2/10, -2, 0, and 12/100. Least to greatest means my negatives have to come first. So that means I only have one negative in this case. So -2 is going to come first. And then 0, 12/100, 2/10, and 1/2. 22. Put the values in order from greatest to least. Greatest means my positive numbers are going to come first and my negative numbers are going to come last. So my biggest positive number is 4. So 4 is going to come first. I would convert this to a decimal, this 2/5, so that becomes 0.4, and that's bigger than 25 cents. So 2/5 is going to be next, then 25 cents. And then to figure out the negatives, the further away from 0 it is, the smaller it is. So -3 and then -5. So 4, 2/5, 25/100, -3, -5. Solve. Number 23. Martin saved his earnings from mowing yards for 4 weeks to spend at the mall. He saved $35.75, $52, $62.50, $43.25. If he planned on buying 2 pairs of pants that cost $45 each and spending the remaining amount on 2 equally priced video games, how much does each game cost? The first thing I need to do is add up everything that he earned. So I take the $35.75, the $52, the $62.50, and the $43.25. Again, lining up decimals because I'm adding, and I get $193.50. Then I know he's going to buy 2 pairs of jeans, and each pair is $45. So that means to find 2, I'm going to multiply 45 times 2, and I get $90. And since he spent 90 of the $193.50, I need to subtract those 2 numbers so I see what he has left. Again, lining up decimals when subtracting, bring it straight down, I get $103.50. The final thing to do is to take that and divide it by 2 because he's going to buy 2 equally priced video games to find out how much each game costs. So when I divide $103.50 by 2, I get $51.75, and that's how much each game costs.